So this week I've uploaded a lot of content by Unexpected End from Free Time Farmers, an indie developer who was kind enough to accept my key requests on Keymailer, and I wanted to take some time to create a separate video detailing my overall thoughts on the game. While I haven't explored every possible ending, I've gotten through at least 3 of them, with a total of 6 hours into the game, which for a game this size is a decent amount of time. I've also looked at content from other people in the community and read some of the discussions for the game, so I think I'm at the point where I have enough of an understanding of the game to give it a proper chance. I think for an escape room-esque game by a really small developer, this game's concept is pretty cool. The game's story is pretty straightforward, and for the twist that it presents, it keeps from getting super complex and convoluted. You start out by crashing your car into some person's garage and you try to call for help. The house is empty and the call for emergency services fails, which causes you to call a contact marked boyfriend, which is ringing from within the house. When you search for it, you find, spoiler, if you don't want this game to be spoiled, go ahead and skip to this time. Okay, 3, 2, 1, hamburger timed bodies in the backyard. You dig up one to find your own wallet in it, and you go up to the computer to find out what's going on. After logging on to your email, you find out that you've been creeping on some girl named Emma, and decided that if you can't have her, then nobody can. At this point, you decide that you need to finish the job, and eventually take Emma out of your trunk and give her a final resting place. Once you complete your job, the endings come in. If you don't hide Emma or burn the house down, you get caught. If you burn the house down with the help of an Amazon drone, you get to walk free, because I guess burning down the house keeps investigators from seeing the dozen of creepy emails that you've sent Emma. Whatever, but that's just the basic gist of the story. Now, the core of Unexpected End is the puzzles, which were pretty interesting, but almost impossible to complete in a reasonable amount of time. I put together a walkthrough of how to get to the correct ending, and the video is right around 20 minutes long. So if you know what you're supposed to do, this game is really short. However, it takes hours to figure out what you're supposed to do otherwise. I watched somebody spend 5 hours playing this game without getting to any ending, because of the hints in this game are so sparse and vague that it's mostly sheer luck if you figure them out. For example, once you find the phone to call emergency services and the call fails, it doesn't really prompt you to do anything else. This game still tells you to call them and doesn't give you any sort of suggestion what to do. Really, calling the boyfriend would be the last thing I'd do, especially if I just crashed into their garage and caused a bunch of property damage. Just having a thing that said call someone for help afterwards would have been an improvement. Even after calling them and looking for the phone, the last thing I'd want to do is try to go outside. The only door leading out to the backyard is locked with no way of opening it, and the phone sounds like it's coming from a closed off portion of the house, which leads people thinking that you need to find a way past the bookcase. The same problem exists with burning the house down. If you figure out how to siphon the gas, you can pour it all over the bottom floor, but once you hit the stairs, it runs out. There's no way to fill it back up, and another one isn't around the house. So, where is it? It turns out you have to find a credit card, go to Amazon, and order an item that doesn't even appear on the site. If you look at Amazon, it looks like a decorative site, just like most of the stuff on the computer. Even if it were just listed on the page, it would make a lot more sense, but it was sheer luck that I found it on there. I get that puzzle games are supposed to be hard, but there's a difference between difficult clues and withholding information. It's like sitting in the living room and asking somebody to find some change around here and hiding a penny in a box in the attic. Unless somebody absolutely tears the entire house apart for what appears to be a simple task, they would never find it. It was random that I figured out to call the boyfriend. I had to actually look at other people's content before I figured out that you could even go outside, because I never would have thought to take the random unmarked oil can from on top of the mantle and use it on the door upstairs to find a hammer to smash the windows with. I would have never thought to check my trunk for Emma with a crowbar that, until a certain point in the game, is a static object. I would have never thought to try to order a jerry can sent off at Amazon, which looked like a decorative page with fake listings. Really, to get through this game, you'd have to pretty much comb every single inch of the whole house to figure out most of the puzzles, because outside of the first couple, they're just impractical. I get that they're supposed to be difficult, but they're also supposed to be clever. I could tell you that I'm thinking of a number between positive and negative 1 million, and that if were my only clue, you'd probably never guess it. Yeah, that's a hard puzzle, but not clever. However, if the puzzles were more manageable and were difficult because you had to refer to a bunch of other things instead of just hoping that you find something else, it would be a different story. While the puzzles weren't great, the extra little things in the game were pretty cool. I think that the games and stuff on the computer was pretty interesting. They really didn't serve a purpose, and I wasn't that interested in playing a game while playing a game, but it was a cool little tech demo. If one of the games looped back into the story or gave you a hint to something secret, I think it would have been a really good addition to the game. The feature is really cool, but I wish it was an actual part of the game. There's also some little details in the phone's note and the computer that make them feel used, which I also really enjoyed. The level of detail in the house and the graphics in general are also great for an indie game. I think there might be a field of view or blur issue that makes it a headache for some people to play, but it's a really good looking game for a team that doesn't likely have the budget to sink a lot of money into graphics. Compared to other games aside, Unexpected End looks really good. Plus, I enjoyed that where they reached their limitations. For example, with the swimming pool, they put a joke there instead of completely removing it or just not acknowledging it. It's a small thing, but I don't mind obvious flaws when a developer acknowledges it and even pokes fun at it. Games aren't supposed to be 100% serious anyway. Overall, while I don't think Unexpected End was the game of the year or anything, I think it was unexpected from a developer of this size. Outside of a couple little glitches and saves being weird, the game works fine and runs pretty well. The graphics are a huge step up for what most small teams produce, and the level of detail in the game makes it seem a lot larger than it is. The puzzles in the game are quite convoluted, which got irritating, but at least the story makes sense. For a first game from a small developer, I think Unexpected End was a great start, and I hope that they take what they learned from this game and use it to make even better games in the future.